Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7 p.m. on LA56.
A strong winter storm pounds the East Coast, bringing blizzard conditions. We'll show you how the weather is affecting travelers around the country, including here at LAX.
A car tumbles down a cliff and plows into an apartment complex. Now those apartments are in jeopardy of collapse.
The Broad Museum is opening its doors for a special preview today. We have a sneak peek. Good evening. I'm Giovanna Lotta.
I'm Jory Rand. Welcome to Eyewitness News at 7 on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. Another weekend, another major snowstorm to hit the East Coast. The wind blowing so hard in Boston, this reporter had a tough time even standing up and holding onto a car. And check out these huge snow drifts in Massachusetts and Maine. You can barely see one car buried nearly to the roof under swells of snow. The storm churning up huge waves from the Atlantic Ocean, but that didn't stop some diehard surfers from catching some waves today. And also in Massachusetts, a daring Coast Guard rescue today off the coast of Nantucket. Two men became stranded after their sailboat lost power early this morning. Conditions were quickly worsening, but they were able to call for help. After navigating through low visibility and near hurricane-force winds, the air crew arrived on scene, hoisting the men to safety. By the time the crew was recovered, their boat was being pounded by 25-foot swells. They were taken to a hospital for treatment, but neither of them was injured.
The massive storm back east is having a ripple effect on air travel here in Southern California. Already, more than a dozen flights have been canceled out of LAX. Eyewitness News reporter Amy Powell has more on those flight cancellations and delays the storm is causing.
15 flights scheduled to arrive at LAX from the Northeast canceled today. Many passengers were sent text messages alerting them about the travel disruptions. The latest in a series of powerful storms is dumping record amounts of snowfall on Boston and other parts of the region. 400 flights at Boston's Logan International were canceled today.
Shovel, 1, 2. Right in the neighbor's yard. Although my neighbors, they're okay with it. They're good people.
There's a little bit of deja vu all over again in this. This would be our fourth major storm in the past 3 weeks.
Massive amounts of snow have caused roofs to collapse and made the roads hazardous. In some areas, the snow is accompanied by bone-chilling winds. More than 6 feet was already covering the ground in parts of Boston from previous storms. Hundreds of snowplows are out trying to clear the roads, and residents are doing their best to cope as the snow continues to pile up.
Yeah, I know I'm not going nowhere, probably for a couple of weeks.
You know, not much melting's going on, obviously, so it's just try to find somewhere to put it.
If I wasn't going to work, I'd be staying home.
4 airports in the Northeast are impacted by the stormy weather. At LAX, Amy Powell, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
So with those snowy conditions in the east, it almost feels a little rude to talk about the weather we've been having here in Southern California. But we'll let Danny do it anyway, just because it was so nice today.
Yeah. Thanks for setting me up that way. Thank
Danny.
you. Yes.
Rub it in.
Hi, I'm the rude guy. Hello. And here's the story. You know what? I'm just really glad that I live in Southern California. And I'll tell you what, if you're visiting, enjoy it with us. It's gorgeous. It's sunshine. And during the night times, clear skies, nice warm temps. Here's our Long Beach camera, live HD, clear skies at the moment down this part of the coast. We go inland to our Irvine Spectrum camera here, Orange County, also clear skies here in the early evening hours, and the temps are pretty nice. These are happening right now. 46 degrees up at Big Bear, not bad at all. 48 at Wrightwood, so a nice mountain night there. Temps in the inland spots. 73 for Ontario, 70 for Fullerton, showing you 66 for Santa Ana as well. And the coastal numbers, not bad, 60 in Santa Monica. But there are some changes on the way. I'll tell you about that when I come back with your live Mega Doppler 7000 HD 7 day in just a little bit. Giovanna and Jory, go ahead.
Danny, thank you. In Denmark, many questions remain just a day after a gunman went on a rampage, killing 2 people in 2 separate shootings. Authorities now saying the suspect had a criminal record. ABC's Terry Moran spoke to a survivor of one of the attacks.
Denmark is reeling from these attacks, which began with the horrifying moments at a cultural center when a panel discussion on free speech became a battleground.
Why do we still say but when we...
Eyewitnesses say they heard the gunman during the shooting.
I could hear Arabic and the shouts, Allahu Akbar.
One man, a Danish film director, killed, 3 officers wounded. The apparent target, this man, Swedish cartoonist Lars Vilks, on an Al-Qaeda wanted list for drawing the Prophet Muhammad as a dog. The organizer of the meeting telling us the bravery of armed guards saved many lives.
If they hadn't shot back at the assassin, he could have shot his way through, and I don't know, something like Charlie Hebdo could have happened.
At a nearby synagogue just after midnight, another shootout. One man killed, 2 policemen wounded. They were protecting families celebrating a bat mitzvah. Hours later, the gunman was dead, killed in an exchange of fire with police, identified as a 22-year-old Danish citizen, a known gang member with a violent record. And today, police swarming a predominantly Muslim neighborhood and raiding an internet cafe, making several arrests. The attacks in Denmark come 5 weeks after the massacre in Paris at the satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo, sparking fears of copycat attacks across Europe. Today, cartoonist Lars Vilks told a Swedish newspaper it would have happened sooner or later, and this is not the last time either. This time, it was Denmark's turn.
That was Terry Moran reporting. The Danish Prime Minister vowed to find new ways to fight the extremism that threatened her country.
A video purporting to show the mass beheadings of Coptic Christian hostages has been released by militants in Libya who are claiming loyalty to ISIS. This is video from Egypt of the relatives and friends of those 21 hostages. They say the men were targeted because they were Christians and voted for Egyptian President El-Sisi. President El-Sisi quickly banned Egyptian citizens from traveling to Libya and promised to evacuate all Egyptians who are currently in that country. The news comes as the U.S. and coalition warplanes make a daring attack this weekend targeting ISIS terrorists in Syria and Iraq. Coalition forces took out tanks, bomb factories, and enemy fighters in that attack. This after ISIS attacked an Iraqi military base where American military forces are stationed back on Friday. The former director of the CIA says that ISIS represents a new kind of threat to the U.S.
ISIS truly represents kind of a whole new phase in the war on terrorism. We're dealing with an enemy that is well funded. We're dealing with an enemy that has strong command and control. And we're dealing with an enemy that is well armed. And as a result of that, I think that they can conduct the kind of offensive operations that can be very effective and that have to be met tooth and nail with everything we've got.
Panetta says he is confident that President Obama can get the authorization he is looking for to fight the terror group.
In eastern Ukraine, the ceasefire that took effect this weekend appears to be holding. Officials say fighting between Ukrainian government forces and pro-Russian separatists has largely stopped. More civilians have come out since the ceasefire took effect. Some people were able to go back to their homes in the pro-Russian areas after being holed up for 2 weeks due to the fighting. It also appears Ukrainian forces are fortifying their position by bringing in construction material.
Back here at home, the search is on for the hit-and-run driver who killed a pedestrian last night in Lancaster. Authorities say it happened about 9:15 near 35th Street West and Avenue L. Officials have not yet released the victim's name, but say it was a 42-year-old man. Paramedics rushed him to a hospital where he later died. At this point, investigators have no description of the suspect's vehicle.
A bizarre accident in Montebello when a driver loses control of his car, rolls down a hillside, and crashes into an apartment building in the 800 block of North Wilcox Avenue. Right now, that 12-unit building has been evacuated. Fire officials are concerned damage to a wall could make the structure unstable in the event of an earthquake. The driver and his passenger sustained cuts and bruises. The driver says he lost control after another vehicle swerved into his lane.
I swerved and I tried getting back into my lane and all hell broke loose. And then my car just spun out and you could see the skid marks and I went flying into the wall.
Chris Gonzalez says the driver of the other vehicle took off after nearly colliding with his vehicle. A structural engineer is now evaluating whether the building is safe to occupy.
A new report due out tomorrow shows a hacking ring stole up to $1 billion from banks around the world. The hackers reportedly infiltrated more than 100 banks in 30 different countries. Most of the targets were in the U.S., Russia, Germany, China, and Ukraine. Security experts say the hackers gained access to the bank's computers through phishing schemes. They dispersed the money through ATMs or set up fake accounts and transferred the money that way.
It's still under construction, but for one day only, the Broad Museum has opened its doors for a special preview. It's going on right now in downtown Los Angeles. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter has a look at the progress and some of the artwork that is on display.
A special light and sound installation fills the Broad in downtown LA as a lucky few get a sneak peek inside the Contemporary Art Museum mid-construction.
I'm overwhelmed. Love the light. Speechless, basically.
Tickets for the rare opening sold out in just 30 minutes. For close to 3,000 visitors, it's a special chance to see behind the veil of the Broad before it officially opens.
Amazing, beautiful. I never see my life this much big, huge.
The third floor gallery is nearly an acre. The raw space unfinished. No walls, no art. The light and the space, the stars for now.
Where are they going to put the walls up? How, are they going to add light? Are they going to depend on the natural light for the art? And so I'll be really curious to see what they do.
The largest elevator in the city, just big enough to accommodate the largest piece in the massive contemporary art collection, is a statement in itself.
I didn't even know it was an elevator. I thought people were just standing around. I walked in and it was pretty cool experience, yeah.
The $140 million showcase on Grand Avenue is being built by philanthropists Eli and Edith Broad to house the nearly 2,000 works of contemporary art from their foundation and personal collection. The newest downtown museum already making a big impression without a single piece of art.
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty amazing. I mean, the moment you walk out of the elevator, you see the skylights. Really, really impressive.
Once the doors close tonight, they won't open again until September, when the Broad officially opens to the public. In downtown Los Angeles, Leanne Suter, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Leanne. Looking forward to it. Coming up next, the use of commercial drones are a step closer to being regulated, what the FAA is now proposing.
Plus, the Las Vegas tower comes tumbling down before it was ever completed. Why the owners destroyed it before it opened.
And these furry guys are prepared for any situation. We'll tell you why this canine search and rescue team took to the skies this weekend. It never opened, and it took just 9 seconds to bring it down. It wasn't a mistake. Today, the Gramercy Tower, under construction in Las Vegas, was imploded. The owners say the high-rise building just didn't fit with their vision of a retail and residential village, so they demolished it, and the tower will now replace it. When complete, the new Gramercy property will include 160 luxury residences and 200,000 square feet of office and retail space.
You couldn't figure that out before they almost
It's a do-over.
Okay. The FAA is proposing new rules on the use of drones here in the U.S. Nearly all commercial drone use is banned in the U.S., but the new regulations would relax those restrictions. Drones weighing up to 55 pounds would be allowed. Operators would have to keep the devices within sight and avoid hazards like people in airports. They must stay below 500 feet and fly slower than 100 miles an hour. To pilot drones, operators would have to be at least 17 years old, pass an aeronautics test, and be vetted by the TSA. It's likely to be 2 or 3 years before the rules are made final.
All right, so we're going to take our commercial drone, fly it over to Danny at the weather wall, and take a look at our work week forecast right now.
Wait,
Danny.
does that mean we're not going to get the drones that deliver the pizzas?
Well, we might.
We have to wait 3 years?
It's the future.
We might.
I want pizza now. Jeez.
We can get you the
that.
pizza.
Jory, get to that. Savannah, keep an eye on them. Here's the story for tonight. We've got ourselves a few clouds moving in on the beach areas, so our Laguna Beach camera here has a little bit of cloud cover mixed in. Otherwise, a pretty nice night down on the coast. Not bad, really. Swinger camera now, our live HD look over to Burbank and the Valley. Clear so far on a Sunday night. Downtown LA looking pretty good, too, with skies clear and temps very cool and mild, 62 degrees at the moment, with just barely a breeze of 3 miles per hour, but our humidity is starting to rise up a little bit, a little more of that cloud cover moves in. 78% relative humidity right now through the downtown spots. Now, this ridge of high pressure we've been dealing with all weekend and last week as well, giving us that strong offshore push, still in effect, although not quite as strong, so our temps are going to drop down a little bit. We're going to allow a little of that onshore flow to influence temps a slight bit, maybe dropping them down 5, 8 degrees in some spots. But on the beaches, that onshore flow brings some clouds and even some patchy fog to some coastal spots tonight, tomorrow morning, and the next few mornings ahead. But then we'll see a little bump up, back up in temps midweek. And then by the weekend, more marine layer influence, cooler temps, and mild numbers into next Saturday and Sunday. Here's how we're looking tonight. Down to 49 for Beaumont, down to 37 in Lancaster, and to 52 in Thousand Oaks. Tomorrow we'll see afternoon highs up to 72 in Encino. We'll get to 68, though, at Malibu. Inglewood goes to 71. Pasadena tops off at 74 degrees. A nice, warm 76 in the high desert of Palmdale. We'll get to 78 in San Bernardino, and Apple Valley goes to 76 now, the 7-day. Power back. The weather's showing you pretty nice few days ahead of us. Morning clouds to start the day, Monday and Tuesday, then sunshine. 75 for the high Tuesday. Warmer still, the warmest day being Wednesday, up to 78. As we head towards the weekend, here's that cool down I mentioned, but still, these numbers, 73, 72, are above the average of 69, just the same. For the valleys and the Inland Empire, mostly sunny skies and temps in the upper 70s, going to 81 the warm day on Wednesday. Still sunny on Thursday. By Friday and Saturday, we're going to knock down temps a bit, but still all above average numbers. Mostly sunny skies, 74s for Saturday and Sunday. For the beaches, that's where we're going to see a little bit of a cool down. There, the clouds, the fog linger a little bit longer, so only highs of 68 for Monday and Tuesday. A little bit warmer as that marine layer thins out sooner, so Wednesday up to 71, but then the marine layer comes back and sticks around a little bit longer in the day. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, highs only to the upper 60s. Still not a bad beach day for us. Mountain spots will be on the breezy side, but clear skies through the week. Numbers going from 57 a high on Tuesday to 63 on Thursday. And by the weekend, though, much cooler air moves in and some winds start blowing on Saturday and Sunday, gusting that 30, 40 mile per hour range. Windy, too, for the high desert, but temps there stay in the 70s all the way through the week till a slightly cooler weekend. 70 and 69 for the highs there, with also some winds blowing as well. But otherwise, the week ahead, sunshine. Enjoy it. Giovanna and Jory, go ahead.
Danny, of course we will. Thank you. Dozens of pilot whales in New Zealand are back out at sea after becoming stranded on a remote stretch of beach. Whale conservation workers and volunteers managed to get about 60 whales refloated last night. They're now hoping the whales can survive. On Friday, nearly 200 whales got stuck on the coastline of Farewell Spit. Unfortunately, about 140 of them had died. This whale stranding has been one of the largest in recent years.
Preparing for all kinds of situations, the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's search and rescue dogs trained with helicopters this weekend. These are pictures from yesterday's exercise. 8 canines and their handlers ran through several evolutions of loading and unloading from a helicopter with the blades spinning. They also took a short flight in the helicopter. The goal is that by participating in these types of trainings, when the time comes for the dog teams to be inserted into a search area via a helicopter, it can be done safely with little or no stress to the dogs.
Good idea. A new study suggests your dog may know more about you than you realize, especially if you have a strong bond with your pup.
And who doesn't? The bond between one Lakewood girl and her dog is so strong that her life depends on her four-legged friend. Health specialist Denise Dedore explains.
At age 3, she survived leukemia, but it was the brain infection that followed afterwards that stole her sight and threatened Alyssa Howe's life every day.
The encephalitis basically destroyed over 50% of her brain. After that, she developed a seizure disorder.
Uncontrollable seizures, up to 20 a day. For 3 years, Alyssa's grandmother stood watch at night.
They slept 3 years on this couch just because she couldn't be left alone at night and stuff. So at that point, I'm like, there has to be something.
That's when Alyssa's mom came across an organization called Four Paws for Ability.
And it talked about seizure alerting, and I was like, wow, like something that could tell us before so we could catch her before she hit her head on the table, or we would know in the middle of the night and we could actually sleep.
Flint came into Alyssa's life. When she has a seizure, he goes into action.
He would go and he would bump her and kind of uses her out. He would come down the hall if we're not, like, he barks as well.
The dog can start pawing at you. It can start barking excessively. And from this point, that is an alert to the caregivers. And there, the caregivers can take the proper protocol.
Animal expert Brandon McMillan works with Magnolia Paws for Compassion. He says service dogs can assist the blind, the deaf, the disabled, and those with a variety of special needs.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Oh, that's a control I like to see.
But many people don't think about the other benefits.
But people also aren't aware that dogs can lower anxiety, ease depression, lower stress. And these are very important aspects for people living with seizure disorders.
Flint does more than look after Alyssa's medical needs. He's opened up a whole world for her. Before Flint, kids might have been hesitant to approach her. Now, they can't wait to meet her.
And so the kids come up to her now at school. They have to ask permission to pet Flint.
Flint's given Alyssa newfound confidence, independence, and most importantly, companionship.
Is he your best friend?
Yeah. Denise Dedore, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
I think I say it every weekend. Dogs are just the best.
They really
They're
are.
just the best.
Without a doubt. A famous vehicle damaged.
That's right. Still to come, we'll tell you about a crash involving the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. Oh, no.
And she might not be faster than a speeding bullet, but she knows how to make an explosive entrance. The details on her milestone performance coming up. Is it what you thought it would be like in here?
I hope everyone's sitting down. We have urgent news. Tragedy has befallen the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. It happened in the Pennsylvania town of Enola. Apparently, the vehicle smashed into a pole. Thank you. Well, it's an urgent story, so I have to have the appropriate tone. Fortunately, there were no injuries. That's the good news. But the Wienermobile, it doesn't look so good. No word yet on what caused the crash. Maybe some stray mustard on the road. Oscar Mayer has several Wienermobiles in their fleet, all shaped like a hot dog on a bun, which are used to promote and advertise Oscar Mayer products here in the United States.
Well, it looks like the most wanted groundhog might have a new place to stay. Punxsutawney Phil has been issued an arrest warrant, but now a New Hampshire ski resort is offering the little guy asylum. The Gunstock Mountain Resort is welcoming Punxsutawney Phil to its slopes, calling him one of America's true winter heroes. Earlier this week, the Merrimack Police Department in New Hampshire issued an arrest warrant for Punxsutawney Phil, that is. The furry weather forecaster predicted 6 more weeks of winter, but he failed to mention that it included a whole lot of snow.
I thought it was just implied. Well, she's 25 years old, and she knows how to win over a crowd with an explosive entrance. Gemma Kirby is a human cannonball, and this performance at a circus in Philadelphia this weekend marked the 500th time she flew out of a cannon. It is a daring feat. Kirby shoots out of the cannon at speeds nearly 70 miles per hour before landing about 100 feet away in a giant airbag.
It's hard to describe what it feels like to get shot out of the cannon. I like to say that it's like the most intense roller coaster you've ever tried to ride on, times 10 with no seatbelt. So you're completely untethered from any sort of vehicle, safety line, anything, and there's a huge push, and then you're just flying through the air.
During each flight, Kirby experiences a G-force of 7. To give you an idea of how powerful that it is, it's about the same level an astronaut experiences when re-entering Earth's atmosphere.
Wow. That's impressive.
I'm sure she doesn't want any still photos taken mid-flight.
I don't know. That's impressive. We're updating our top stories at 7:30, including all the travel delays due to a big storm on the East Coast.
The deadline is looming for anyone who needs coverage through the Affordable Care Act. What you need to know to complete the process.
And scorpions on a plane? It may sound like the next installment to a Samuel L. Jackson movie, but the real-life drama played out here at LAX. We have the details.
And a manhunt is underway for a driver accused of killing a woman in a road rage incident.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 7:30, the East Coast is digging out from yet another massive winter storm. Hello, I'm Giovanna Lotta.
I'm Jory Rand. This is Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7:30 p.m. Flights are either delayed or canceled from LAX to Boston, New York, and Washington, D.C. There is so much snow in Boston, the Transit Authority sent out trains to blast through all the snow that was covering the lines. Meantime, in New Hampshire, the roof of a strip mall was no match for the weight of the snow. It collapsed. Fortunately, no one was injured. And in Maine, a beach town there is completely buried in snow. Still, it didn't stop some diehard surfers who managed to get out on the waves today.
And in Denmark, police say the gunman suspected of 2 deadly attacks had a history of violence. Authorities say the 22-year-old may have also been inspired by Islamic terrorists and possibly the Charlie Hebdo massacre in Paris. Denmark's prime minister says the country is mourning the 2 lives lost and is vowing to protect the freedom of speech. The suspect was killed in a gun battle with a SWAT team after eluding authorities for hours.
It is getting down to the wire for anyone who still needs coverage through the Affordable Care Act. Today, officials are making a final push for enrollment in the state health care exchange known as Covered California. As Eyewitness News reporter Darsha Phillips tells us, you have until midnight to get signed up.
It's crunch time for those who are still uninsured. Today is the last day to enroll in Obamacare.
People don't realize that there's always emergencies. A physical could prevent a lot of after problems.
All across the area, enrollment events are being held to help folks complete the process and avoid paying a penalty for not being insured. That penalty could be more than $325.
It's easier to make a phone call than to pay a fine next year because they will get fined.
This event at Dignity Health Hospital in downtown Los Angeles helped a lot of people who waited until the last minute.
We're assisting people who haven't enrolled on applying for health coverage to meet the deadline for the Covered California.
A technical glitch did cause some setbacks. Enrollees couldn't electronically verify their income. Officials say the problem is now fixed, and when the system is overloaded, some snags are expected.
Because a lot of people are applying today, so the system gets overloaded, and it will be, but as long as this application gets submitted, they will have, later on to fix whatever problem is there.
To make the process easier, officials say, come prepared.
If you're planning on attending any of the last-minute enrollment events, officials say you need to bring your Social Security number if you have one, your income documents, and your tax documents.
And although the deadline is midnight, those who start the application for Covered California today with a certified enrollment counselor will have until Friday to complete the process. In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Darsha Phillips, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A woman is stung by a scorpion on a flight from LAX to Portland. This photo was taken last night inside Alaska Airlines Flight 567. It was taxiing on the runway when the passenger was stung. She was checked out by paramedics and released. It's unclear how the scorpion got on the plane, but the flight had come from Mexico, where scorpions are common. Also on board, the Oregon State men's basketball team. They were flying home after losing to USC. The flight took off safely to Oregon without any further delays.
So what would Samuel L. Jackson say?
I'm not going to say it.
I'm tired of these scorpions on this plane. Yeah. All right. A pursuit of a stolen vehicle ends with a crash in Palmdale and 2 suspects in custody. It happened shortly after midnight, ending on the 500 block of East Avenue R8. Authorities say the stolen vehicle belonged to a security guard, and there may have been weapons and bulletproof vests inside the car. The driver lost control, slamming into a fence, bouncing off it, and then hitting a white pickup truck.
During the pursuit, the suspect's vehicle intentionally hit a CHP officer, which caused a 245 against a PO, assault with a deadly weapon against a police officer.
Authorities say the 2 suspects inside the vehicle were taken to a hospital with minor injuries. CHP is trying to figure out what caused this fiery crash in Chino. It happened early this morning on the eastbound 60 freeway near Mountain Avenue. Police say 2 vehicles were involved in the collision when one burst into flames, the other rolling over. 2 people were seen being treated at the scene. At least one of them was taken to the hospital. No word on either of their conditions.
The search is on for the suspect who opened fire at the Mar Vista housing project in Del Rey, killing one man and injuring another. It happened last night on the 4800 block of Marionwood Drive. Investigators say 50-year-old Calvin Johnson of Paramount died at the scene. Another man was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. No word on a motive for that shooting.
Beautiful weather out there. For more on our July 15th temperatures. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not July, is it, Danny? It's still the middle of February.
Exactly.
I would just never know going outside in this heat.
Plants, animals, and jewelry thrown off by the weather we're seeing there. Growing when they shouldn't grow and just totally out of control. And I'll tell you what, it's going to stay that way through most of the week. It's going to stay well above average temps throughout the next 7 days. Here's our LAX camera right now. Down on the coast, a little cloud cover coming in, changing our temps a little bit to the lower side of things. I swing our camera now out to our HD view of the Irvine Spectrum area there, Orange County. This shot, pretty clear over the area right now. And downtown LA, mostly clear skies, a little cloud cover moving in right now. Today was a warm day once again, 80 degrees downtown, 69 the average temp for this date. So again, well above that. Sunrise tomorrow, 6:37. And what about the week ahead? I will tell you. The live Mega Doppler 7000 HD 7-day forecast in just a little bit. Right now, Giovanna and Jory, go ahead.
Thank you, Danny. A candlelight vigil was held at Northern Arizona University last night to remember Kayla Mueller. The humanitarian aid worker was killed while being held captive by ISIS terrorists. Her captors claimed she died in an airstrike, but the Pentagon rejected that, saying it is unclear how the 26-year-old was killed. And President Barack Obama is ready to confront extremism in U.S. neighborhoods. The January terrorist attacks in Paris raised concerns enough for Obama to schedule the long-postponed summit. The event set for Wednesday, is set for Wednesday, and will bring together police and religious leaders. The focus is to find ways to stop young Americans and others from joining terrorist groups.
A sad end to the apparent road rage incident in Las Vegas. A mother of 4 shot on her way back from teaching her daughter how to drive has died. Now a manhunt is underway for her killer. ABC's Clayton Sandell has more.
There are few clues, but plenty of sorrow tonight for friends and family of Tammy Myers.
My son's only one year and 2 months. And now I got to deal with my son growing up without knowing his grandmother.
Las Vegas police tonight say the hunt for this man is a top priority. Investigators say he was in a car Thursday night that nearly collided with Myers and her 15-year-old daughter, headed home after a driving lesson. Police say Myers and the other driver argued, and that car followed them home. Someone opened fire, hitting Myers once.
You're really disgusting for taking my mother's life. She didn't really deserve it.
Tonight, police are on the lookout for this silver or gray sedan, seen here in newly released video captured by a home security camera.
As far as we can tell, there was no prior contact with these individuals. They are complete strangers.
Myers was a mother of 4, a nurse. Her husband brought her red roses every Valentine's Day for 25 years. He did it one last time Saturday before she was taken off life support.
I always have a wife to never leave my heart, but she's gone.
What began as an apparent act of road rage is now a case of murder. Clayton Sandell, ABC News, Denver.
So tragic. A pet theft caught on camera.
Still to come, we'll show you surveillance video where you can see the dog napper stashing the puppy under his coat.
And who were the big winners at the Writers Guild Awards? We'll tell you right after the break. Pet store owners in Denver, Colorado hope someone recognizes suspects who stole an 8-week-old female Pomeranian from their store aquatic dog. Surveillance cameras caught the crime. One of 2 men goes to the puppies while the other distracts employees. He pushes the cover back, puts the puppy under his coat, and walks out. The store owner's husband grabs the other guy as he leaves, tearing his sweater. But both men got away. The puppy is worth about $1,200, but the store owners say they're more worried about the puppy than the money.
The Grand Budapest Hotel and The Imitation Game were the big winners at the Writers Guild Awards. The Grand Budapest won for Best Original Screenplay. It was written by Wes Anderson. He co-wrote the story with Hugo Guinness. And The Imitation Game took home the prize for Best Adapted Screenplay. It was written by Graham Moore and based on the book Alan Turing, The Enigma, written by Andrew Hodges.
It feels like baseball weather outside, and some local Little Leaguers are ready to start the season.
That they are. Still to come on Eyewitness News, we'll show you how a generous donation has these players ready to hit the field.
Plus, NASCAR officials changed Daytona qualifying. Coming up in sports, we'll tell you who took home the pole position for next week's Daytona 500. It was a beautiful day down at Newport Beach, but check out this time-lapse video shot south of Balboa Pier. Watch as the fog in the distance starts rolling in, eventually surrounding the entire beach in a thick marine layer. Thanks to our viewer Michael Dougherty for sharing this video with us using the hashtag ABC7 Eyewitness. That's quite a difference.
Yeah, that's a little, it's almost like thriller movie-esque there. Special effects couldn't be so
what's
scary.
In the fog? Remember that movie, The Fog?
I do remember The Fog. I wish I didn't remember The Fog, Danny.
Creepy. Oh, now we scared Jory. I'm so sorry. Jeez. Well, it'll make you happy here. Quick, 5 points. Name this. What is it? Anyone? Time's up. Mickey's Fun Wheel. down near the California bench right there on Paradise Pier. A beautiful shot of one part of Orange County looking pretty good tonight. Swing the camera now out to our live HD look at Long Beach, and there the Queen in the water and the skies above. At this point, clear of any marine layer, but that's not to say it's not going to happen later on tonight. Already some clouds moving in through downtown LA, where it is 62 degrees with just a breeze of 3 miles per hour, and our relative humidity at 78% as more moisture builds in. Courtesy of this marine layer coming in tonight into tomorrow morning, just on the coastal valleys, backing off during Monday afternoon. Watch what happens, though, Monday night into Tuesday. Marine layer a lot more far-reaching, so expect temps to drop down a little bit more on Tuesday as well. But by Wednesday, it all changes again. We see this ridge of high pressure. It's been there most of the weekend and a few days before that with that offshore push very strong, so very warm temps. Some winds kicking up as well. But now that's weakened somewhat, and we're going to see a change with a few temps dropping down in some areas, especially on the coastal areas, as that marine layer moves back in like we showed you in that video. Here's numbers tonight, down to 52 in Glendale, 42 in Palmdale, and then the high tomorrow getting up to 76 in the high desert of Lancaster, to 77 for Fillmore, 74 for Northridge, and Ontario gets to 77. Huntington Beach, though, cloudier, 68, 72 at Mission Viejo, now the 7-day powered by AccuWeather. Watch the numbers go, 73, 75 to start the week. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine, the pattern. Not much marine layer Wednesday, so the warmest day there, up to 78 downtown. Still sunny and clear on Thursday. Then the marine layer sticks around longer Friday into the weekend, so temps drop back down to 72s, which are still above the average temp of 69. Valleys, Inland Empire, mostly sunny skies to start the week, and then the temps bump up to the 80s once again on Wednesday, but then Thursday and Friday we start to see things change again for the cooler side as that marine layer pushes to the inland spots as well, bringing highs of only 74 for the weekend, although still not bad. Beaches, there the clouds and the fog thicker tomorrow and Tuesday morning as well, so temps are going to stay down at 68, but then come Wednesday, a little bit warmer, less marine layer, but then the marine layer returns stronger Friday into the weekend. Temps drop back down to 69 for the daytime highs. Mountain spots will be sunny and breezy, 61, and then down to 57, back up to the 60s, staying there through the week until the weekend. The winds kick in, cooler air as well, and temps go 55 and to 50 with overnight numbers, though very mild for the mountains, 30s and 40s through the week. The high desert will be on the windy side to start off, but look at the numbers, 70s all the way through the week, 76 on Monday, 75 on Thursday, but the weekend cools down to the 70s, even 69 on Sunday. So not bad at all. Enjoy the sunshine. Giovanna, Jory, go.
Danny, thank you. You too. A bunch of little leaguers in El Segundo are ready to start the season thanks to a generous donation. Mizuno donated 13 all-new generation bats, baseball gloves, and batting gloves to the league. They were presented at Dick's Sporting Goods at Plaza El Segundo, where experts also provided some helpful information like how to steam and care for the gloves and making sure the players had the right apparel.
I'm really happy.
Yeah, did you need one?
Yeah, I need one.
And how is it going to help you?
It's going to help my performance at third base. I was really surprised that we got all this stuff for free just for coming here. I'm looking forward to using it for the first game of the season this year.
Okay, what position do you play?
I play first base, catcher, and pitcher.
All of these guys are very grateful for the support of their sponsors who make it possible for them to play. What a great way to start.
Yeah, good stuff, and baseball is in the air. Time to talk sports. The NBA All-Star Game usually is all about the offense. This year, it's no different. After the first 24 minutes of action, we have the highest combined score in the history of the game, with the West leading at halftime 83-82. We'll have your full highlights on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. To the ice, Ducks hosting the Capitals. Yeah, hockey can hurt sometimes. Matt Bolesky lucky to walk and skate away from that one. First period tied at 1. Ducks forcing the turnover. Devontae Smith-Pelly to Corey Perry. He shoots and scores, but minutes later, Alex Ovechkin on the power play. His NHL leading 36 goals. We're tied at 2. In the second, Caps up 3-2. Jack Hillen finds Ovechkin down the ice. Ovi with a nice pass. He can pass 2 to Andrei Burakovsky. First of his 2 goals. The Ducks haven't beaten the Capitals in Anaheim since 2002, falling today 5-3. The Kings won their 4th straight last night against those same Capitals, but they could still be looking to make a deal at the trade deadline. It's almost here. Reports say the Kings may be interested in Toronto defenseman and team captain Dion Phaneuf, but they would need to include Mike Richards the other way in any deal, which may be a tough sell for teams. A deal between the Leafs and Kings could also be derailed due to the unknown situation surrounding Slava Voinov, set to go on trial next month for domestic abuse. Racing now, NASCAR officials changed the Daytona qualifying format this year, sending drivers onto the track in groups of 5. The new elimination format still didn't faze Jeff Gordon, who announced this week it'll be his last full season as a driver, full-time season. Gordon saved his best lap for last, posting a time just under 45 seconds. He'll take the pole for next Sunday's Daytona 500. Afterwards, Gordon expressed his excitement with this new format.
This is a special race. It's special to be on the pole, but under that format today, which is wild and crazy, knowing it's my last Daytona 500, this is definitely the storybook beginning to hopefully what's going to be a great season, a great week here at Daytona. You look at how it finished and the drama that was built and the excitement. And from our end, you know, one of the most gratifying polls I've ever had here at Daytona because of how we had to go about it and the role that I played, my spotter played, the team played.
The Daytona 500, the first race of the season, takes place 1 week from today.
Coming up later tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7, a baby that couldn't wait to come into the world. The parents didn't even make it out of the garage. The emergency delivery for this little guy. And behind the scenes of The Bachelor, find out what pushed Bachelor Chris Soules out of his comfort zone. Those stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 newscast. That's Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
Well, coming up here on Eyewitness News on LA56, Kevin Costner talks about his role in the new film McFarlane USA.
Find out what the actor is saying about his real-life inspiration.
It's unbelievable. Did you see it? 50 Shades of Grey sizzled at the weekend box office. The erotic drama dominated the competition, taking this weekend's top spot.
I don't do romance. now, looking so great.
My tastes are very singular.
Audiences were more than curious to check out the big screen adaptation of the racy book. It is expected to bring in more than $81 million this holiday weekend. Kingsman, The Secret Service, came in second with $35.6 million. SpongeBob, American Sniper, and Jupiter Ascending rounded out the top 5.
Kevin Costner is taking a page out of real life for his latest movie role. He plays Coach Jim White, a man who's sure had an impact on the town he calls home. Entertainment guru George Pinocchio talks with Costner and the man he plays in McFarland, USA.
We have kids here who seem like they can run forever. They carb a load on rice and beans. I mean, they tick in extreme heat. They go to school all day. Some of them even run home. I've seen it, and it's unbelievable.
In McFarland, USA, Kevin Costner plays a high school teacher and coach who accepts a job in California's Central Valley, not far from Bakersfield. It's in the small, economically challenged town of McFarland. There, he sees potential champions and some hardworking kids who agree to be on his newly formed, against all odds, cross-country team. Costner found this true story inspiring.
And I read it, and I just thought it was really beautiful that this life, this culture of the migrant farm worker and their children who are making their way in the United States, how they fare. I played against McFarland in high school, so I lived in the Central Valley. So I can't say I know their life, but I've been around it, and I just thought it was really beautifully done.
You get paid by the hour? By the field. By the field.
It's an honorable thing to try to know something above and beyond yourself and to have a level of empathy and understanding for someone.
The real Coach White is now retired, but his legacy lives on in McFarland thanks to what he started in 1987.
Every coach in McFarland, they all ran for me, from the 8th grade down to the 8-year-olds, up to the high school girls program, boys program. All the coaches ran for me.
You lived this story. Is it 100% true, 90%, 80?
No, it's not 100% or 90. I think where the 100% would fit in is my true feelings with the kids in the town, the community. 100% accurate there. I think he portrayed that very well.
McFarland, USA will be in theaters on Friday. It's rated PG. George Pinocchio, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Looks pretty good.
That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for joining us for Eyewitness News 7 here on LA56. LA56 Weekend Theater is next.
Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.